Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday, and I wasn't here on Sunday. I had to go to a gig, and we'll get to that here in a second. Hey, there's Rick, the sheriff, the next soon-to-be sheriff of Nottingham. But yeah, so we got a show today. It is what it is. I mean, not every show is going to be firecrackers and unicorns flying through the air. So we're going to get through some of the important things that have happened this week. So let's get to the statistics because things have changed. Gas prices. I know. Everybody's feeling it at the pump. The average price of gas in the United States is $3.57 a gallon. So we are now over Joe Biden's average by 27 cents. Now, the good thing is we're already seeing the price per barrel is going down. So nobody should panic. Every time, like I remember when Trump did his tariffs and everybody was like, oh my God, what are we ever going to do? And Trump said, just wait, it'll all work itself out. And he was right, it did. So that's what gas prices are going to do. This isn't going to be a 20-year war like all the libtards seem to think it's going to be, or the fear mongering that they're taking advantage of right now. Trump was already, he said just today, he said, hey, I'm running out of stuff to blow up over there. So I think we're getting close to being done with our primary objectives. And then it'll be up to the Iranian people as to what they want to do. Good job, Bonnie. So mortgage rates went back up to 5.990 on average. Boo. You know, it's funny because if you watch major television, we're going to go through some of the TV trends of what I've noticed. But the Trump's approval rating, even though they keep saying he's like doing such a horrible job on the news, his approval rating keeps climbing. It went up again. So now he's at 43.3. Now we go on the other side of the coin and you look at the Democrats, they dropped 0.8%. So they're down to 35.7. So who's telling the truth and what's really happening? You know, we know our media likes to tell tall tales, and that's what they're doing to us. Let's look at the Dow Jones real quick since it's closed to now. So the Dow Jones closed today at $47,417.27. It hit in the low 47s earlier today, like around noon, but then it started to rebound and it's kind of flatlined there at the end of the day. As we get closer, as we know, the stock market is so touchy. Somebody, farts downwind and they think San Francisco is going to smell it. We can blame it on the poop map. There's really no relevance of that metaphor I just used. It made no sense, but I wanted to take a shot at San Francisco. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. Because San Francisco has a poop map. Google it. So I'm going to tell you guys about my project that I've been working on with my dearest friend T. So she's decided, and I'm going to tell you I'm not an expert on hip hop or rap by any means. But I can tell you that from starting point to where we are now has only been like maybe a month in this whole music venture she started. In that amount of time, I can't keep up. I can't. She's already written and recorded 4 songs that she started from scratch. I don't know how she comes up with this stuff so fast. I mean, I would spend probably weeks on just one set of lyrics. So it's really impressive to watch her, turn this idea into reality. So I will pop her little picture up. This is her promo thing. So she headlined at the Echo Lounge in Morrow over the weekend. It was Sunday night, and I don't think I got home until like 3:00 in the morning. But so we've gone from that to basically she's written the song, produced the song, and we distributed the song to where she's now performing the song. And it's all happened within like a month and a half. I've never seen something move this fast. So I'm hoping that it's going to lead to bigger and better things. And so tonight we're performing again. Well, she is. I'm going to watch at the Onyx in Atlanta. So it's going to be late again. I don't think she even gets on the stage until like midnight. But then on Friday, we're performing again at a place called Urban Taco Bar, which is downtown Atlanta, like down by the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So we've already booked three performances. She's been interviewed by a pretty decent sized podcast. I'm going to bring her on my show and kind of introduce my viewers to her and her unbelievable talent. Her music is out. Well, her initial song, Hello, Rachel, her debut song is out and it can be downloaded on everywhere, iTunes, Apple, that's the same thing, YouTube, Spotify. You can use it as a song on TikTok and on Instagram. And hey, what's up, G bro? So that's my project that I've been working on in my evening time. I'm starting to think that the world doesn't think I need to sleep ever. So I basically work all day and then I go work all night. Yeah. So I don't know how I'm still standing. But so her debut song is called We Outside. Bet you'll never guess what it's about. It's about being outside. But it's a pretty catchy song. It's like it's a club song. So if you like the club music, that's where it's at. That's what she likes to do. And she's from Memphis originally, so her music has a Glorilla kind of sound to it a little bit. So enough of that. So as soon as I get done podcasting, I got to go get ready, and then I got to go down into Atlanta for this performance. Come on, Rick. We need to just throw a big giant party and just have music flying. That's what we need to do. Extreme mudding, Georgia. We got lots of places you can mud around here. So the next item up for bids, let's go through the sponsors. Collab. You know what? We can do the hip hop and country collaboration. It works every time. Country, I know, Freddie. I love country music. So my cousin Cassidy, he plays bass guitar for Dierks Bentley. So and then I got another cousin, Jerry Reed, who's from Detroit. He was with Motown for a little bit. See, there you go, Rick. I'm telling you, man, all the entertainment, the entertainment industry is here. You could pretty much throw a stone and hit a performer in Metro Atlanta. It's nuts. I think we had record producers watching last time. You know, Freddie, back home where I'm from, in the little town called Fort Loramie, Ohio, we have the country concert, and that place is intense and it's fun. And like pretty much every country music artist goes to it. And it's a blast. So let's get into the Iran war, because things are starting to. I don't want to say they're like intensifying because I think they're already intensified, but I want to say that I think we're kind of at the apex of this situation. I think we're going to start seeing a downward trend. So we'll go over what's happened. So they are escalating the attacks across the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, especially. That's the big focal point right now with the gas prices going high. Everybody's dialing back oil production because they can't get it out of the Gulf. So we're going to try to free up the Strait of Hormuz so we can start moving goods again. So suspected Iranian drones struck at least 3 commercial ships laid naval mines in the strait, prompting the U.S. Navy to destroy 16 Iranian vessels involved in mine-laying operations. The oil markets are extremely volatile, swinging between $120 and $83 a barrel. And 7 countries are warning of fuel and LPG shortages. What's for dinner, Bonnie? Kentucky Fried Chicken? So we're seeing attacks on the civilian airports. So they attacked Dubai and other regional airports. So multiple drones were intercepted over Dubai International Airport, injuring 4 people and briefly disrupting operations. The UAE says flights will continue, but the region is now on high alert for further strikes. Don't mind me. I'm just reading the script that London City Council gave me for the show. So the Pentagon says Tuesday was the most intense day yet of U.S. strikes inside Iran. Israel has expanded operations into Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah positions as Iran simultaneously targets Israel and Gulf states. The Iran's Revolutionary Guard insists its missile program remains intact and is firing larger warheads in greater numbers. I don't think that's true. I think they're doing everything they can to rally some support. Oh, man, meatloaf. I like meatloaf. So Iran's been trying, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this war or not, but Iran is doing everything they can to try to make it look like they're not getting their ass kicked, but they are literally getting their ass kicked. And I can confirm this because some of the neighboring countries that I consult with on the media side of things, they can confirm it. Everybody wants your meatloaf, Bonnie. Better make a bigger loaf of it. So roughly 140 U.S. service members have been wounded so far, with 8 severely injured following Iranian rocket and drone retaliation. Iran also launched drones towards Saudi Arabia and Kuwait early Tuesday, widening the battlefield, which I'm still struggling with this strategy. Like, what if I'm going to have a war with somebody who's from far away? The last thing I'm going to do is bomb my neighbors, thinking, well, maybe my neighbors will have my back. Nope. First thing we're going to do, let's bomb the neighbors and get them engaged. So I don't understand their method. I don't know if they thought they could put enough pressure on their neighbors to force the United States, because fighting us directly is not going to be a good idea. And it's been proving to not be a good idea. So I think maybe they were trying to put pressure on the Arab states and the Gulf states to say, hey, we're getting bombed on because of you guys. I believe you, Tom. I believe it. And you know what? Every meatloaf I've ever tried has a different flavor to it. Like, every single person who makes meatloaf has like a different kick to it. It's amazing. It's almost like when you take a bite, it's like the question mark dum-dum sucker, the mystery one. You don't know until you put it in your mouth. So Tehran has warned it may begin targeting U.S.-linked banks across the Middle East, signaling a shift towards economic warfare. Iranian officials say they are prepared for a long-term war of attrition. aimed at damaging the U.S. economy, which we're already seeing that. That is a goal of theirs. They're trying to disrupt the global markets, which hurts the United States probably more than anybody. So the UN reports widespread disruption to air travel, transport, and daily life across the Middle East as the conflict enters its 5th day of continuous escalation. Russia's reportedly sharing intelligence with Iran, helping guide attacks on U.S. forces, an important sign of deepening coordination between the two U.S. adversaries. So I was, it's funny. I was just talking about Q today with my dad, and it seems like every time Q says something, and 10 years ago when they said it, we're like, oh, poppycock. That's the most blasphemous thing I've ever heard. But then 10 years later, it starts to pan out to be true. Like, remember when everybody made fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene because she said that that Israel could shoot things out of the sky with lasers? Well, guess what? Israel has lasers that can shoot stuff out of the sky. So who's the crazy lunatic now? Marjorie Taylor Greene's still a crazy lunatic, but she like, it makes you think like these QAnon conspiracies might not have really have been conspiracies after all. A lot of them, like the whole thing where they said that John F. Kennedy was going to come back, that somehow he was going to come back and help lead the country. And then boom, Trump puts RFK in the cabinet. Maybe it wasn't like a perfect prophecy, but man, was it close. Who would have thought Bobby Kennedy would have been in Trump's cabinet? I mean, it's amazing how some of QAnon stuff has kind of panned out to be true. And everybody's been painting them for all these years as these crazy, ultra right-wing conspiracy theorists. And now it's all true. All the UFO stuff, we're finding out all that was true. It's crazy. So anytime QAnon comes out with something, I do pay attention now because I'm like, this is going to come into play in like 5 to 10 years. Bank on it. So I don't count it out. I was a huge skeptical at first. I'm like, these people, this is like this group's got to be led by like David Koresh or Jim Jones or somebody like that. You're right, Rachel. We live in a crazy world, and I do believe anything's possible. Anything's possible. As a matter of fact, I've been preparing for the aliens for some time. I binge watch Ancient Aliens, and I've watched like probably 20 to 25 different alien movies in the last 2 weeks. So it can happen any day. What were we talking about? Oh, war. I should have did the whole show on QAnon. I probably would have got way more views. I might have to do that. I'm gonna research all of QAnon's conspiracies and see and we'll do a show and we'll see how many have come true. That will be fun. I'll see if I can find a picture of like the ghost of John F. Kennedy or something. Put it on my thumbnail. So Russia is helping out and providing intelligence to Iran. So the global fuel prices are rising due to Iran's Gulf strikes and the partial closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Even cryptocurrency markets are reacting. Actually, so the company that I broker for, they have their own it's a $10 million like Bitcoin mine. And I was on site yesterday for meetings, and we were taking the prospective client through on a tour of the facility, and so we took them into the Bitcoin mine. It's this massive room with just computers everywhere. It's pretty impressive. But we went in there and it was all turned off. I looked at our partner. I was like, "Song, why is the mine off?" And he's like, "Energy costs are up right now." He says, "You gotta wait. You gotta wait." So when the energy costs go up, I turn the mine off because it takes an immense amount of energy. No, it's I started it last year. I'm actually getting more of it worked on tomorrow. So yeah, I got more. There's more coming. Ironically, tomorrow I'm going to be in a tattoo booth for like 8 hours. It's gonna be intense. Usually I'm ready to kill somebody by the 5th hour. Because I'll sit there. I don't take breaks. He decides when the breaks are. I just sit there and just let him do it. But anyway, so the energy prices, Bitcoin's taking a hit because the people are turning off the mines. So there's not as much being mined right now. Now, as soon as the energy prices go back down, the mining will start again. So it's just it's one of those things where they weigh out is the overhead too much. Because it does take an exponential amount of energy to do Bitcoin mining to create those blockchains. I made it sound like I knew what I was talking about right there, but really I don't have a clue. They try to explain it to me every single time I go there. They're like, well, it computes data and very difficult algorithms and then puts them in a blockchain and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so how does that turn into money? How does it turn into money? I still don't know. Like, it's not like the dollar where we can back it with gold or silver or platinum or all these other precious metals. You don't need precious metals for Bitcoin. It's just like, poof. Hey, we found a bunch of information. I feel like they're stealing information to create money. Like they mine all this data about us as humans, and then they sell it off. And that's how they get a certain amount of money brought in from the data that they sell, and they turn it into a Bitcoin. I don't know. That's just my QAnon theory. Maybe in 10 years, I'll be right. Yeah. Like I actually, when I first heard about it, I thought there was going to be an actual mine. Like, they're like, you want to see the mine? I'm going, okay, well, do you guys have a hard hat and like a flashlight I can put on there and like a pickaxe or something? Nope. We walked into an open warehouse with a bunch of computers in it. Like, here's the mine. I'm like, that's not a mine. This looks like a computer lab from high school, but with way more computers. Well, Rachel, you're probably going to have to give me a tutorial because I still haven't figured it out. I have to get a hold of my Gen Z children to tell me how to do techie stuff. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just learned how to use Canva this year. Like, I know how to like put pictures on stuff. That's it. Minecraft's serious, man. My youngest stepson, he was a Minecraft junkie, man. He knew everything there is to know about Minecraft. So what does this war mean now? So the conflict is no longer limited to U.S.-Iran direct exchange. It spans Israel, Lebanon, the Gulf states, global shipping lanes. The international world is calling it a regional war that has world war characteristics. So who's all involved? Now, this is part that our government doesn't tell us. And I was interviewed on a podcast last week, and I brought this out in the podcast, and a lot of people were like, "We had no idea there were this many countries involved in this." Yeah, it's actually it's very intense. So obviously, the United States is leading Operation Epic Fury, conducting large-scale strikes on Iranian military infrastructure. Israel is running Operation Roaring Lion, so there's two different operations, striking Iranian targets and Hezbollah positions in Lebanon. So the United Kingdom is now identified amongst U.S. allies, even though Trump basically had to call them out to get them to cooperate. And then Iran made the mistake by firing on Cyprus, where Britain has a base. So that kind of changed the game for them. France has also talked a big game, but we know that they'll just surrender if things get tough. France is really good at surrendering. They haven't, it took them a 5'2" dictator to bring that country some fortitude after he died, after Napoleon died, they turned into a bunch of cowards. Canada has also expressed some interest in there. So we'll see what happens. Australia has sent fighter jets. So there's more to the story than what our media is telling you. You won't even see that on the conservative media. Both sides, they don't want to talk about all the people that's helping America because that'll make us look like we're getting support. So there are countries that are kind of like in the middle of this that wanted to stay neutral, but they're eventually going to get drug into this. So you have the United Arab Emirates, which UAE, you have Saudi Arabia, you have Bahrain, you have Qatar, you have Kuwait, you have Oman, you have Jordan, Iraq, and Lebanon. So all of those countries, except for Lebanon, have been targeted by Iran. Now, Lebanon is being targeted because of Hezbollah, which is funded by Iran, for those of you who don't know. And Lebanon is right beside Israel. So they have a very close proximity to attack Israel anytime they want, and they do. So this is Israel's chance to wipe out a proxy group that Iran funds to bomb Israel. So the countries that are aligned or supporting Iran, I mean, obviously Iran is the central actor. Now the Hezbollah part of Lebanon is supporting Iran. You have some Iraqi-based militias. You know, it surprised me too, Rachel, that Australia lended a hand, even though it's only like a couple fighter jets. But it's something. It's like a good faith gesture. Like, hey, we'll send a couple pilots your way, and throw them in the game. I'm glad. I would prefer to have the Aussies on our team. I do like them. I know their government structure is a little screwed up right now. They've kind of went that socialist route as well. They were doing a lot of heavy censoring of their people, but I'm glad that they're helping out, because the Aussies that's a tough group, and they do fight hard. And usually every time we need them, they're there. So this time is no different. They've sent some resources, and we appreciate that from Australia. Well, I don't want to say we, the Democrats, don't appreciate none of that, but I appreciate it as an American. I like it when our allies come and say, hey, we like to fight too. The Aussies, you can't tell them no, because they're going to go take it out on Tasmania, probably. Just a theory. Like, well, if we can't fight, we'll just go beat up Tasmania. Or maybe they don't. I don't know. Nobody ever goes to Tasmania because you could die there from the Tasmanian devil. I watched Wild Boys when Steve-O, they would go into like these like very like jungle areas, like in the middle of nowhere, all these places. They went to Tasmania one time and they dressed up in robes, like monk robes, and they were like trying to worship the Tasmanian devil like he was the devil. It was insane. And then the Tasmanian devil got mad and chased him off. I know, Freddie. It's all cartoons, but there really is a Tasmanian devil. It's a lot smaller than the cartoon one. But then, yeah, so Russia's involved. Syria's a little bit involved. They're hosting Iranian assets and transit routes, though they're not the primary battlefield yet. I know the Syrian president's trying to avoid any kind of involvement. They'd like to stay neutral, which is smart on his part. But there are some bad actors there still. Syria's always had an issue with bad actors. So, as probably a lot of you know, Kristi Noem, she was basically fired as the Department of Homeland Security Director, Secretary, and she was replaced with Markwayne Mullin. Now, I was a huge fan of Kristi Noem. Like, if you talk to my dad, he'll tell you I pumped her up all the time. I thought she was tough as nails, and she just had that, like, those blue eyes. They would glare at you and it'd like turn you to stone. She's just an intimidating woman that demands respect. I don't think I would want to cross her because I feel like she shoots really straight and she'll just shoot you. But anyway, she had some issues. She was having an affair with Corey Lewandowski, and everybody found out. And then there were some money issues. So she didn't get a promotion. I don't think Trump wanted to fire her, but it was an easy de-escalation to a situation that the Democrats were starting to gain favor on for midterm talking points. So Trump did the right thing, I think, by switching it, and he put her as part of the that coalition down in South America for the immigration stuff. I forget what it's called, but which is going to be fine. It may be a promotion, but it was a demotion. They had to get her out of there. The Democrats were gaining ground in the polls because of her. But Markwayne Mullins, he's respected. So we'll go down through his history a little bit. So Markwayne Mullins has publicly said he's super excited about the nomination and is coordinating directly with the president as he prepares for his role. Nearly 50 House Republicans have endorsed him for the position, calling this a critical moment for border security. Trump has praised him as a MAGA warrior and emphasized his background as an undefeated MMA fighter. So he currently serves as Oklahoma's junior U.S. Senator. He's been in office since 2023. He's previously served a decade in the U.S. House of Representatives from 2013 to 2023. He's known as a strong Trump ally, especially on immigration and border enforcement. He was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's a citizen of both the United States and the Cherokee Nation. Shield of Americas, that's right. But I think that's cool that he's a citizen of the Cherokee Nation. I think it's always good to have, somebody with a Native American background, high up in our government to represent, the indigenous people. And plus, who doesn't like the Indians, man? They're cool. He's married to Christy Rowan. They have 6 kids. He's a former mixed martial arts fighter, and he was very, very good at it. He was also a collegiate wrestler. All his kids are collegiate wrestlers. So Mullen is expected to continue Trump's aggressive immigration and border security agenda. Analysts note that Democrats do not anticipate major policy shifts from the Noem era, meaning DHS under Mullen will likely remain a hardline enforcement posture, which it should be. We've made a lot of progress on that. I'd hate to see it regress. So his nomination signals Trump's preference for loyalists with strong ideological alignment. The move also reflects internal GOP dynamics, with the Main Street Caucus taking the unusual step of issuing a formal endorsement. Even John Fetterman has put his stamp of approval on Markwayne Mullin. I guess they're pretty close friends, which John Fetterman, he's so moderate that he almost comes across as more of a Republican than he does a Democrat. I actually like him. Like when they have him on TV, I always listen because it's like after he had his stroke, he changed. Like the stroke turned on his common sense, because he used to talk reckless before he had his stroke. Like he was a progressive, was talking about all these crazy ideals, and he had a stroke. Maybe that woke him up to something and was like, whoa, God must think I'm not doing this right, so I should probably go the other way. And it's worked out for him. He's gained a lot of popularity. He's seems to be saying and doing all the right things. He votes well. My dad just said that the new supreme leader of Iran, his cardboard cutout looks like a South Park character. My dad watches South Park. He should. It's the best cartoon ever. But we're never going to see the new Ayatollah because he's never going to come out of the bunker. He's going to spend the rest of his life in a basement somewhere. I mean, I guess if you want to live, I'd probably just, do the Morse code or surrender. That's what they need to do because as soon as his head comes out, we're going to see Benjamin Netanyahu and his freaking lasers. They're going to start whacking people again. So the public perception of Markwayne Mullin is very positive. He's very well liked. He does have a reputation for working on both sides of the aisle. He listens and he doesn't judge. He almost got into a fight with somebody during the congressional session a couple years ago. That was it. That was funny. And Bernie Sanders was like, he's like, sit down. Old Bernie. So his MMA background is used as a metaphor for his toughness. He's aligned with Trump, especially on immigration. He's got the Cherokee heritage. He has a business and ranching background. He turned his dad's plumbing business into this major profitable business. So this guy is a winner. He's got this winning track record, and it's impressive. I like to see people who are winners, and he's obviously worked hard. He has no real college education. I mean, he went to college, I believe, but I don't believe he's got any degree. Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure he was a high school graduate, just worked hard. And that just shows you hard work will get you somewhere. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, so I have been on a lot of news in the last week. It's to the point where I wake up every day and I have a media request. And I have one tomorrow at 11:30 before I go into the tattoo shop. But lately I've been getting on the major programs. So I've been on the Republic, which is they have a program called The Debate with Arnab Goswami, and he's one of the most watched programs in all of Asia because he likes to bring in everybody from different backgrounds and bring up a controversial topic and then let us all tear each other's heads off. So I've participated in some of his debates. I am always the only one who stands up for America. Everybody else on there bashes America except for me. I am literally the international fighter of America in the media right now. Nobody else is doing it except me. It's ridiculous. It's like I'm the only pro-America person they could find to do media in the international world. But I thought it was kind of cool the other day. And I'm not 100% an Israel fan. I do think there's necessities that we have to do with them, but there's also, I think they do things a little sketchy sometimes. But when you do a live, what they do is they have you get in there like 5 minutes early. It's like basically just a Google Meet or a Zoom call. And so I'll get into the meeting and then I sit in what they call the waiting room, which is basically I'm just sitting there. And I'm staring at a black screen, but I can hear the production team speaking Arabic, and then, I could hear the session before me on the Republic. Arnab was interviewing David Mencer, who is Benjamin Netanyahu's spokesperson. And so the reality hits you sometimes. And I'm like, man, I have to follow this guy. I'm literally the next person to come on this show. And I'm going after Benjamin Netanyahu's spokesman. And and David Mencer is on everything. He's on TV all the time. But now I sit here and I look and I'm going, well, hell, I'm on TV all the time. So, and he was struggling. David Mencer was really dodging the question about where they're saying allegedly it's a Tomahawk missile that hit the Iranian school. I'm still hearing back and forth. President Trump says that it's not. Everybody over there says yes. Yeah, it is like Zoom, Freddie. But like it's a regardless if it's ours. Like he was dancing around. He didn't want to point the finger at Israel. He didn't want to point the finger at the United States. He was like, it's Iran's missile. And Arnab kept saying, well, they're saying it's a Tomahawk missile. America's the only ones who have Tomahawk missiles, which unless we sold them to somebody, he's right. It most likely is a misfire from us, or Iran has replicated, what looks like a Tomahawk missile. So I can't really say one way or the other because I'm not a missile expert. So I just let him duke it out. But I came on after him, and I wanted to kind of help him out a little bit. And so I did. And I basically stood the position of, look, it's a war, and wars happen. And there's always going to be miscalculations. There's always going to be misfires. There's always going to be something that gets hit that's tragic that we don't want to see on the news. We don't want to see a blown up school full of kids. We don't want to see that. So for the international world to get so upset about it and say, "Whoa, they're just the United States, it's their missile." Yeah, okay, so maybe it is. If it is, we're sorry. I'm sorry on behalf of America that we whatever happened with the missile that hit the school children. We don't want to see those things. However, if it's not our missile, then we need to find out whose it is. And if it is Iran's, or if it's Israel's, or if it's Hezbollah's, or whoever's missile it is, we just need them to acknowledge it and say, look, we weren't trying to do that. That's our target was not a school full of children. As a matter of fact, when this gets all done and over with, we're going to go in there. We're going to build a really nice school for those school children that were lost in their memory and honor. Something along those lines. I think the international community can handle that. I think it would be a lot more forgiving, but to leave that responsibility dangling in the air is never really a good idea, I think. And it does hurt President Trump. We are approaching midterms. So some of these mistakes are going to add up, and the Democrats will take advantage of them because they're good at that. I'm not going to lie. Democrats are good at taking advantage of people's screw ups. They're experts at it. So I was also on Pakistan TV with Sana Makbul. I've turned into one of her go-to people. She was just in the United States not too long ago. And they asked me to go to Washington, D.C. to do a face-to-face interview, but I was like, it's a little too short timing, and I'm not going to be able to get there in time. From Atlanta to Washington. I mean, I could fly, but I would have spent a lot of money on a plane ticket at the last second. You know how they jack the plane prices up when you're trying to get somewhere fast. I've also been on the Asia news and the Times Now. So it's been interesting. And most of these, like the Republic is for the most part in India, they are a conservative media. Pakistan TV is very moderate. They do weigh both sides. Asia news is kind of moderate, more kind of left leaning, and the Times Now is very left. They did not want me to finish any sentences. And so I know the producer. He was with the Republic when I first got into this, and he left and went to the Times Now as a much bigger network. And so he went to the Times Now. And so I talked to him afterwards. I said, hey, if I don't have a problem, going against you guys' left narrative. I said, but at least let me finish my thought process, just to cut me off. What's the point of me coming on if you're just going to degrade my professional opinion? So he was like, oh, okay, we'll make sure that we don't do that anymore. I said, okay. So we'll see what happens. Haven't been on since then. So another good piece of information. So President Trump was in the great state of Kentucky today in Hebron. I don't know if you guys pronounce it Hebron or Hebron. Here we have one here in Georgia. It's a private school in Metro Atlanta. We pronounce it Hebron here. So Hebron. Yeah, you're going to see that for a little bit, Rachel. Some of the freight charges are going to be a little pricey for a little bit, but I do think they'll go back down to normal here soon. So President Trump came to Kentucky. He went to Cincinnati too. He went to a big pharma company in Cincinnati, and he went to a transport company in Hebron, Kentucky. So President Donald Trump, who is backing challenger Ed Gallrein over incumbent GOP Representative Thomas Massie. As we know, Thomas Massie's real name should be No, because he says no on everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't think he even reads the bills. He just automatic no on everything. He is the opposite of the movie Yes Man. He is the no man. And I'm not even gonna. I was gonna make a movie joke, but I'm not gonna say it because it's inappropriate. The actual title of the movie is inappropriate, so I can't. I'm not gonna say it. But in the movie, Tom Green's in it, and he is the backwards man, and so he puts his suit on backwards and walks backwards. But and he sings a song called "The Backwards Man." I'm the backwards man. But that's what Thomas Massie is. He's the no man and the backwards man. He hates everything. And he fights everyone. And the only person he likes is Ro Khanna, weirdly enough. So Thomas Massie is getting primaried in the 4th Congressional District, Republican primary. Trump highlighted his endorsement again on Tuesday ahead of his planned Wednesday visit to the Bluegrass State. Trump then followed that up by targeting Massie again in a Wednesday morning Truth Social post. I'm going to quote that Truth Social post because I love it when President Trump makes Truth Social posts because they're always funny. He said, and I quote, "I predict that President Thomas Massie will go down as the worst," all caps, "the worst Republican congressman in the long and fabled history of the United States Congress. Even worse than crazy Liz Cheney and crying Adam Kinzinger and Marjorie Taylor Brown. Remember, green turns brown under stress." Like, where's he come up with this stuff? He's the best troll ever. Then he said, he will hopefully lose big. I love Kentucky. So the president has officially declared Marjorie Taylor Brown and crazy Liz Cheney. Where does he come up with this stuff? I don't understand why everybody in our country doesn't love when Donald Trump tweets something or has a speech, because he maybe it's because a lot of the President Trump is not very friendly to feminists. I think that's a pretty fair statement to say. Feminists do not like Donald Trump because he's your ultimate chauvinist, alpha, womanizer. Let's forget about the Epstein stuff because I don't know exactly what's going to end up being certified as true or not. There's a lot of misinformation floating around out there, but we can look at Donald Trump in that light. He is the ultimate old school man. And so I can understand why they hate everything that comes out of his mouth, but I think it's funny. I grew up in that era of, you tell, passive jokes, take jabs at people. Like, you can't do that no more because people get really, really they turn into crybabies really fast. I still do it, but it's not as fun as what it used to be. You used to be able to, if you can dish it out, you got to be able to take it. Freddie, so I'm glad you brought that up. because that I was just talking to my dad about that earlier today, and we both came to the conclusion that out of all the states in America, Kentucky has the worst congressional representatives by far. I'm not a fan of Rand Paul. I think he got the COVID stuff right, but everything else he's done outside of COVID, I think he's been a complete Thomas Massie clone. And then, of course, you guys have Hal Rogers. He's been worthless for a long time. He continues to be a warmongering, money laundering piece of trash. Mitch McConnell is literally Weekend at Bernie's. Like, put headphones on him and he'll just go. But don't take the headphones off and put him in front of a microphone, because then he'll just stare off into Never Land. So y'all got some bad politicians, and hopefully, well, now you've got some. I believe the Hurley, I think his name's Ben Hurley, shooting for that Hal Rogers seat. He's promising. I've paid attention to him. I really like him. Anybody who's running for Mitch McConnell's seat is going to be an improvement from Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's got so much money, and his wife is so deeply in bed with the CCP that Mitch McConnell doesn't think he needs to listen to anybody. And that's his problem. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Donna brings the QAnon conspiracy theory. You guys have a cloning facility in London now? I bet Randall Weddle had something to do with that. That's what they're hiding this whole time. Distract everybody over here while they have their cloning lab. Yeah, so Andy Barr, he needs to not get that C. I do not like Andy Barr. I think he's a clown. Michael Ferris is a good one. I like him. So wait, what happened to Snowball? Don't tell me Snowball got assassinated. He wasn't working with Iran, was he? The Israelis get him. But anyway, Kentucky's got to change their politicians, and I think they're on their way to doing that. You're going to see a much different represented Kentucky, I think, starting after this midterm, which should be so the mayoral candidate Snowball the cat has passed on to the afterlife. We did do a segment on Snowball, and I made Snowball my thumbnail for one of my shows. I was going to vote for Snowball for the mayor of London. Fully endorsed. Our thoughts and prayers are with Councilman House today as she grieves the loss of her loved Snowball. Ah, that sucks. So Snowball had cancer. Man. It was too late. Bobby Kennedy didn't flip the food pyramid upside down fast enough. Blame it on Joe Biden. So in a text message to Fox News Digital, Thomas Massie responded to President Trump. He said it was actually Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger who teamed up with Trump in March of 2020 to try and defeat me. Bro, people want to defeat you all the time, Massie. You are literally worthless. I'm telling you, guys had a prosperous future. If Snowball would have made it to the mayor's race, you guys would have had a prosperous future. Snowball would have won bigly, probably to the likes of which we've never seen. So President Trump declared in part of a Truth Social post on Tuesday that Captain Ed Gallring has my complete and total endorsement against Congressman Tom Massie. He only votes against the Republican Party, making life very easy for radical left. Unlike lightweight Congressman Massie, a true hater of Israel and totally ineffective loser who has failed us so bigly, Captain Ed Gallring is a winner who will not let Kentucky down. Quote, end quote. How do you not like that? He's a big loser. So Massie on Tuesday posted a document on X that he said was Gallring's voter registration card. The document shows Gallring registered as an independent in May 2016. You know what? I'm not even going to hold that against Gallring because a lot of Republicans were scared of Trump and they did not want him to be president. Fully understandable. 2016 was a difficult year to vote. You either had to vote for Satan, Hillary Clinton, or Donald Trump, who was going to flip America on its head. It was a confusing time for most Americans. Massie also texted Fox Digital. He said, I'm not going to go to the Kentucky rally. He said, I have other previously scheduled events in the district today, including a visit to 2 public schools that are about 3 hours from the president's speech. Well, nobody was asking you, Thomas Massie. We should probably put the flags at half-mast in London. Let's get it done. Now, Andy Bashir votes the religiously right way, whatever that is in his mind, the religiously transgender way. I don't know what Massie's thought process is. Like there's some things he votes no on that I just sit here and go, well, this is a no-brainer. Like, how can you call yourself a conservative and vote against some of the most conservative principles? I just don't understand. And I get it. People evolve and change over time. I get it. Thomas Massie's wife died not that long ago. That can change a person. I'm sympathetic towards that. I do not attack Thomas Massie for that. However, he did rebound pretty quickly with, I think it was a staffer or his secretary or an executive secretary or something. But I do think that it's time for him to go. I don't think he's listening to his constituency. Most politicians don't, so I can't fully blame Thomas Massie for that because most of the politicians don't pay attention to their constituents. They pay attention to the private sector. So, but I did have some updates on the Darren Kidd case. So I've been getting a lot of new information on that there in McCreary County. I do believe that when this starts to come out, that this is going to get labeled a murder. They're testing blood that they found at an abandoned house. Like what are we, 8 years later now? All of a sudden, magically, now they've got this blood that they need to test only because I started making YouTube shorts about the Darren Kidd case and I started finding out stuff. Then all of a sudden now they want to, by the way, we have this blood we've been holding on to for 8 years from this abandoned house that may or may not be the house that he may or may not have been stuffed in a deep freezer. Because then I come to find out I've had it confirmed by 4 different rescue people now that when they did the search for Darren, they went up and down that creek on both sides and they never found the body. Supposedly When the body was found, he was naked and wrapped up in a blue tarp and placed there. There is also a witness that says that there was a bullet hole in his head. So we're going to just wait before we get too crazy with it and find out if this is actually Darren's blood that was found. If that's the case, that is going to initiate a series of questions that I'm going to have for Sheriff Waters. One, why did you hold on to that blood for so long without testing it? What are you waiting for people's memories to forget what happened? There's a lot more to the story. There's more stuff that I know that I'm not ready to reveal yet because I have to confirm things. So that's not a bad strategy because they'll take the top two in the primary. If the top two, so Weddle will be the odd man out, then you'll let Orr and Tracy Hadley duke it out for the mayor seat. Yeah, I would break London up into two halves. That's actually a really good. Well, you need to be a political advisor. They need smart people to come up with some of these ideas. Think out of the box. Chuck. You're gonna have to send me an email and let me know what's going on in Somerset, because I don't have anybody over there currently telling me what's going on in Somerset. I kind of haven't touched base with anybody over there in a while. But that's our show for the day. I don't want to go on too long. I got to get ready. Like I said, my T's got to do a show tonight, so I got to go get ready and try to hopefully she'll rock everybody out tonight. So I'm out. Peace.